thanks a lot. In fact, to all of you, I'm most happy to be with students of SRCC. You know, it's one of the most prestigious institutions in India, and all of you must be equally proud. And since I don't have that qualification which you have, I would love to say, hello, millennials. You're all possibly born in this millennium, and which I can only share one thing with you, which is that yes, we are all born in independent India. We have known only one country in our lives. We have known only one border, and we have excelled as a nation in the last 75 years, and the coming 25 years hold great promise not only for this country, but also for each one of you. I'll start with this because I would love to end with this also. The first thing which I wish to tell you is that yes, I hope to break this talk into three portions. One is generally about characteristics. Two, the second section would be about Advantage India. And the third one would be about what I think should also be a part and parcel of everyone's life, which is the future. So just to begin with, I would first, of course, advise you, you've seen my experience, that yes, student of St. Stephen's College here, from a National Science Talent Scholarship, shifted to History Honours because that was the most popular subject for sitting for the IAS. But coming of age, theatre, I think Mr. Mukesh Chhabra told you that there's lots of work for everyone. There's lots happening in the world of theatre and in the world of digital cinema. So I also had to learn and go for theatre, stage theatre, to improve my diction, to improve my voice, and to get trained by some professional directors in the university that time. I was lucky that yes, at the age of 20, we could sit for exams. We all belong to a middle class family. So it was that whatever you study, and that studies, I must tell you, is not only the 4 years of school that you have done, the 3 years of college which you will do, and perhaps another 2 years. All this is very serious stuff, and I don't think I should tell any of you, because in any case, if you've joined Sri Ram College of Commerce, then all of you are almost as close to 100% results as you can be. Otherwise, you wouldn't have got admission. So that's where college took. One joined the State Bank of India as a probationary officer. One got the IPS to join the police service. But the aim was to sit for the civil services exam, the next one, which is tougher, and did that at the age of 21, 22, and got into the IAS in the 1978 batch. So the first lesson which I learned in life, and it is on till today, it's tireless striving, hard work. There is no shortcut to hard work, and that is the route to success. You must work hard and then hope for blessings of God, because there's plenty of competition in this world. Number two is listen and discuss. That is the greatest remedy that you have for almost everything in life. You are actually blessed by having so many friends in a competitive world. You have your family. Listen to people, discuss with people, and there are plenty of ways to do whatever you would like to do. The third one is integrity. Integrity, honesty is a very great asset, and undoubtedly all of you have it already. Just maintain that. It helps you in life. You heard of so many houses of business. I think the Tatas stand out compared to anyone. And in our own very small way, DLF stands out because right from the time when the first plots were sold prior to independence, 1946, it was decided that we will only deal by checks. And that paid us huge dividends. We don't have a case today under the Real Estate Regulation Act. There are lots of projects which you must have heard about in Noida, Greater Noida, other places which are abandoned or in distress. DLF did not have it because we were always dealing with checks, and also that whatever we promised, we delivered. And during the tough years from 2008, we made it a policy very soon that as far as we can try, we would complete the project and then sell it so that you could see what you were buying. Integrity makes a lot of difference in any field of life. You set it once as your barometer. Believe me, the world recognizes it. The next point is fourth is loyalty. You are loyal to the salt. You are loyal to your family. You are loyal to yourself. You are loyal to your nation. And that is a big gift that you can, if you are loyal, if you have your integrity right, and you are willing to work hard, then believe me, you must pick up, like you must have done already through school and now in college, something called boldness and courage. That makes the difference between a winner and a person who wishes to just pass life by. It makes a very big difference, because with endowed as you are with education, and the best education that possibly exists in the world in your field, why give up a risk-taking ability? You should not be risk averse. You should be able to take a risk, but then use your superior brains that you already have to gauge as many possibilities of where the risks lie. You're not going to walk plainly into a death-defying act. But yes, you can show boldness and courage the moment you think what the odds are. I'd like to give you an example. After 28 years in the IS, everyone thought that, sorry, why should you be resigning from service? Why don't you take voluntary retirement, which will ensure a pension, medical benefits, and why resign? My own idea was to take a risk. I was joining the private sector at the age of 51. The idea was that, yes, if I do well, then that will give me many more years of service. Whereas the service I was in has a flat end at the age of 60. If you are lucky, you can get some other assignments also. Believe me, it did work out. The idea was that, yes, you must excel in whatever you're doing. Then after that, of course, the company was one of the best. God was kind. One rose to be a CEO and a full-time director, whole-time director. That is the kind of things which you must take into consideration, that it's not the falsehood of just a pension which leads you to take some steps which may not be warranted. Can't lose your cool, can't lose your temper, must listen to others, must think out of the box. And guess the first challenge which came up out of the box? 2008, there's something which you know it very well now. IPL was to be launched. The option was that, okay, maybe you could do teams, but we thought it was, if we had good people working with us, why to worry about having a team and working full-time on that? Maybe we could do more projects, but what we could do was to be the title sponsors. We bet on the title sponsors 40 crores per annum, maybe 10 crores more for doing all the ground work. And every year it was invested into the ground. As you know, the boundary wall, the creases, the wickets, then the carpets that they have. But also the fact that sixes at that time came to be called DLF maximum. So just for 40 crores, imagine what they're doing right now. This year, that those same rights per annum, title rights, have been sold for something like 537 crores. And we had it at 40 crores for 5 years. So you've got to think out of the box. It became the best advertising campaign for DLF. It used to give us a return, perhaps something to the tune of, if they calculated it rightly, IPL, they told us we were getting returns of 2,500 crores per annum in just 60 days. And it worked very well. So you've got to take chances. You've got to think out of the box. But while doing all that, You will be growing up. You will be establishing your own families. You will be establishing your own careers. Please remember, you are some of the most gifted people in the world. You are going to stand out within your own community, your committee of students, people who take up jobs next, and also in your families. There must be a sense of sacrifice. Avarice or greed never stood anybody in good. There is a God in every family, and that God is the person who makes a sacrifice for many others within the family. It can be your parents, it can be your elder siblings, it can be a younger sibling, it can be you. Look out for being that God in the family. You can be a God within your friends. They look up to you, and think of yourself as a meaningful contributor to the final product, whether it is in your family, whether it is in your life, whether it is in the company that you're working for, or whether it is in the career that you choose in life. And finally, to the nation and civilization. Therefore, you have to think beyond the horizon, ahead of the prism, which breaks out into your Vibgyor, and visualize the future by doing so. While doing so, please remember that you are the people who are undoubtedly endowed with seeing the perspective, but never drop two things. Number one, never drop your self-belief and your self-motivation. No one can motivate you more than yourself. But all the same, you are not going to face, and you're not going to do cutthroat competition. There must be somewhere of a sacrifice, and you will find that by and large, your friends, your family members, your community, everyone will recognize that, and that will be the greatest reward. Why do we think so? I now come to my second stage of this talk with you, which is the India advantage. The India advantage is not only right now. We have a civilizational view. You've heard of so many things, I'm sure, on WhatsApp, that Indians did have it good, whether it was the discovery of zero, whether it was mathematics, astrology, astronomy, Indians, medical sciences, dance forms, the place of women, everything we can look back to a civilizational view. That is the India advantage, that our systems, our values, our ethics have actually lived through generations and millennia and multi-millennia. We do have an Indian advantage, and the first thing to recognize in that is never overestimate current challenges and never underestimate the distant ones. One thing which can come to my mind, I'd like to place before you, is climate change. While it is an immediate challenge, but we do have a much more distant challenge also, that we are going to solve this issue within a time frame to resolve that, yes, we lead a better life for a much, much longer period of life. We are a committed nation which is peaceful. You and I are products of what? A peaceful India, which is an independent India. Imagine we don't have to think of how someone is taking away our raw materials, forcing taxes on us, forcing goods on us from abroad, but at the same time, they are looking out for the Indian merit. You would know as well as I do that how many Indians are excelling around the world, and how many of them have come to lead the biggest of the multinationals. That is something which lies before you. It's such a difference today that I was hearing it from another officer from the Foreign Service recently, that maybe 2 or 3 decades ago, If in a country in Europe, someone asked to go and see a car manufacturer, it was tough to find an appointment even with the lowest of the officials of that company. Today, the CEOs of those very companies vie for an Indian presence and Indian introduction. That's what this is. It's the fastest growing economy, if not the fastest, one of the fastest growing economies. And it is the largest unified single market. That's what you are. A market which is, all of you are commerce students or economic students, you would know that when an economy is growing from a 3 trillion base to something like 15 trillion in the near future, and eventually to 40 trillion or 50 trillion that we hope for, imagine the upsides of those. We have today left that age-old, or the last 70 years, ethic or paradigm of Garibi Hatao. Today you're looking at a much higher amount, that yes, we would be a 15 to 20 trillion dollar economy. We will not internalize poverty anymore. We will internalize a growing nation, a nation which fulfills and is desirous of raising the standards of living of each and everyone. Just yesterday, I had the good fortune of visiting a steel plant. Can you imagine that this steel plant, which makes special alloys in steel, commands 18% of the global demand for engine piston rings? And in that factory, when I entered that factory, besides many cars, there were about 2,000 people working there. And in 2 different plants, I saw more than 2,000 motorbikes over there. The Indian worker who's going there is a skilled worker. He's trained to operate manual systems and computerized systems of degasifying. I mean, that's something which I was learning. And they actually work and they come and go on their own motorbikes. There are buses also for those who can't afford a bike at the moment. And there are many, many engineers over there, and diploma engineers as well as graduate engineers who are coming by cars. So please remember that you are embarking upon the journey of your life at a time which is the largest unified single market. You have to leverage the Indian consumer with what? One, affordability. That has been the Indian thing. I can tell you that when we formed the Ministry of Food Processing Industry in India, one of the big investments which was coming in was Pepsi Cola. And everyone thought that, like shoes, Nike shoes, or like other products, India is a middle class, India has a huge middle class of 300 million, and everyone will be able to sell a can of Pepsi or Coke later at $1.99 a can. No. India did the affordable thing. Today, you have a can of Pepsi at 20 rupees, which is 33 cents and lesser, or maybe even 25 cents. So this is what makes you leverage. The first principle of leveraging the big Indian market is affordability. Number 2, penetrate into the Bharat market, the market of Bharat. That's where Nykaa became a success. There's so many others who became a success by penetrating the same market of rural India, whereas a huge opportunity will lie in the near future when we actually have 87 crore people expected to be living in cities by 2050. Imagine, I just think of real estate right now, that we would be required to make 8 crore homes. That's $1/2 trillion to be spent on making just the smallest, which is 300 square feet, 1 bedroom, hall, kitchen. And buy that. Whenever you get a chance, buy that. Because that's where ease of mobility would come. We are actually hoping in life that very soon there will be a decision taken to provide these 8 crore homes in cities besides in villages, and there would be ease of mobility. So availability and mobility are the other two factors. We have affordability, penetrating the market of Bharat, the rural areas. We have availability, an economy of surpluses and not shortages, because shortages lead to licensing, and that very often leads to corruptibility. So we must work the other way around. Please also realize, from my own experience, I can tell you that better service and better seeding of the market mean very high returns. From a Zomato to so many examples which can be taken in IT, telecom, pharma, education, health, infrastructure, housing, FMCG, automobiles, two-wheelers, F&B, grooming, domestic tourism and hospitality. Each one of them offers you a great opportunity. And most of all, people from your college would be in demand, because good accounts and good thinking always makes a difference between a successful or an unsuccessful organization. Then learn to please pull along. I know you are great experts in accountancy and in economics, but learn to pull along with people with STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, because they are equally important for the growth and for innovation in this society. And I can give you plenty of success stories, whether it's private life insurance, advertising, consumer, data usage, unicorns. I mean, today, why unicorns? We're thinking of unicorns now. We're thinking of billionaires in India. And how many of them? Fintech, which is your field, digitization. I mean, I can give you a whole lot on these, but this success awaits you. Each one of you can be a unicorn, can be a unicorn, but more than that, you must be happy individuals. You must make happy unions. You must make happy families, because eventually this is the time in the next 25 years. One of the main challenges, which gets me to my third portion of the talk, is we have to reset institutions, because thanks to education and good health, we are witnessing a breakup of age-old systems. Like one of them is the caste system. I don't think any of you even think in terms of caste, and you should not be. It's merit which is coming in. It is compassion which is coming in, and it is progress of everyone. That is the principle. As far as I'm concerned, I would only like to give you that the civil service is a great thing in life, but all of us, wherever we are working, we must reset the national mindset to open up India as a destination for investment, good innovation, incubation, and then see to it that every Indian gets a good life. And if we can spread the message that yes, we help people all over the world to lead a better life than what they are leading today. My aim to see all of you would be that in the next 15 years or so, we make it to a $15 to $20 trillion economy. And in the next decade and a half, from 2035 to 2050, double it into a 40 to 50 trillion economy. But there are two things which I want to end up with. One, I want to leave an idea with you. If you can spread it, I would be truly grateful to you. That can we have a langar in every city, at least in one gurdwara, one temple, one mosque, and one church? Why can we not wipe out hunger from this society, which will lead to eradication of so many crimes and so much of trafficking? Spread this idea. Why, if Sardars, who are possibly the smallest community ahead of bigger than the Parsis only, if they can do it, they can do langar for food, they can do langar for oxygen tanks, they can do langar for medical care. Why can we Indians, all of us, whether we are Hindus, Muslims, or Christians, why can't we do it in every city, at least in one church, one temple, one mosque, besides the gurdwaras? And the last thing, because you are Indians, You are the future of this country. Never despair, never lose your heart. But more than that, please pledge that you will be Indians first and Indians last. Any other identity will come only next to that. We are Indians and we are proud to be Indians. We were born free and we will keep this country free forever for everyone to enjoy like we have, and the future generations should also. Thank you very much. I'm so grateful to you that you've given me time.